Oh, that's because I'm playing music. That'll fix. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
What's that?
They can't see the special screen over on the far right. They don't know what it is.
Oh,
Still.
I'm going to sort of kind of mention that today.
Are you?
Good. I'm going to hint at it a little bit. Yeah. Let's do our faces. How about that? All right.
Hello, chat room.
Who's here? Who's in the chat? Who's ready for a really good shoe?
Hey, Kevin's here. What's up, Kevin?
He's not watching Breaking Bad and The Wire.
Good stuff.
All right. Got Peeps here, and we got...
Man, my hair is really tall today. I need a haircut.
Tall hair is tall. Okay, looks like we're live. Everything's running. Now we're gonna set. Now we'll set up the record. Okay, so everybody hit record.
I'm rolling.
Let me know when you're rolling.
I am rolling.
Okay,
rolling.
Do a sync clap. It'll be 1, 2, 3 clap. All right. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Cool.
Perfect. So perfect.
Nice.
Couldn't have gotten more perfect.
All right.
So on sync.
Think we're good. You ready, Matt? You good?
Yep.
All right. Let's do this. What's up and welcome to another Mograph Mocast. I'm Dave.
And I'm Matt. Joining us this week is a super talented Pedro Ramos.
Hello, everyone.
And Mograph is a supplement to our site, mograph.com, which is a motion graphics tutorial site with tutorials, plugins, podcasts, and other Mograph stuff. And on the show, we talk about everything ranging from motion graphics to Cinema 4D, After Effects, plugins, render engines, doing business, doing taxes, being a contractor, or working for the man. You can email us info@mograph.com. Let us know what you think about the show. Questions, comments, concerns, queries, grievances, show topic ideas, artist suggestions. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, the TikToks. The TikToks and mograph.com. Make sure you subscribe to our TikTok, get our numbers up. They're moving. We're getting close to be able to do a live stream. And
beaten your daughter yet?
Oh yeah.
That
She
sounds
actually
weird.
she made
Have you beaten your daughter yet?
Do your parents know what was the thing in school people would say?
I don't know.
Does the principal know that your parents beat you or something? Because you can't. Yes or no, it doesn't matter what you say. You know.
Right.
Anyway, my daughter made a TikTok about the fact that we were beating her. You know?
Oh, that's
yeah. Because Dad's cool because he's got more TikTok followers.
Right.
You know. So check us out on there. We're gonna do a live stream hopefully when we hit 1,000 on there and just say hi and talk about
that'll be fun.
Motion graphic.
It'd be cool to get the show on there as well.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
While we're live streaming.
Yeah, for sure. So we can get rated. I don't know if I want to do that. We'll turn comments off. How about that?
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, does that really matter?
I mean, the TikTok algorithm. Yeah, I don't know. Guess it doesn't matter. We won't even have to engage in the content.
And it's not like that stuff's gonna come through to our chat,
True.
will it?
No.
Yeah.
It won't. A couple week wrap-up things I wanted to talk about. Number one is this Thursday evening.
Yeah.
Got a live special with Caitlin, the Brush Up Special. So if you're into Procreate, make sure that you check that out. Come ask questions if you want to learn a little bit more about the course and what it offers, or ask.
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of
questions. Fun. I'm sure if you got Procreate questions, she could totally answer that. And so stop by 8 p.m. Central. That's when that's going to be. And then, of course, don't forget about Monday. a week from today is going to be our holiday special that we do every year with Ariev and EJ, and I got to get on that. I got to get that set up for the drop like I did with the Halloween episode. So,
and then we don't have a show on the 27th, correct?
Correct. We are going to relax.
And we're gonna have a nice, relaxing day.
Hope we don't have any big projects because I would love to take a day off.
Sure, we do.
Yeah. So there's that, and yeah, we're gonna slow down and chill, finish some things that we're working on behind the scenes. A lot we're still working on behind the scenes, trying to launch our new thing, which is going to be. If you're in the Discord, you've seen me testing it. If you're at Camp Mograph, you saw me testing it. Our new 24/7 streaming channel for motion graphics that we are getting closer and closer to launching. So if you've noticed, I have that vertical screen in this office. It's been here all year. I've been building a mini television station. So we're almost done with the sponsorship deals and the media deals and the all the things. And I think that is something everybody could get involved with eventually if they'd like to. And I think it's gonna be pretty fun.
It's gonna be great.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
Yeah. So just keep an ear out for that. We don't have an official launch date. There's just it's new territory. It's new territory. There's a lot of little things that we're trying to work out as far as like automation and scheduling and stuff like that. So yeah, we are gonna launch hopefully at the beginning of the year.
Yep.
Hopefully sometime near close to the beginning of the year. I'm not going to overpromise.
He's not gonna make promises
and then hate myself for not getting it done because I didn't work 24 hours a day to get it done.
Right.
I'm just gonna keep moving. So
you do enough. You do more than enough, Dave.
There's plenty of client work and things to do. So let's talk about you now, Pedro. Let's talk about all the things. We got to hang out for the first time in January of 2019 when we were at MDC.
Yes.
And that was
pre-dystopian world, yeah.
Right.
I know the before times was great.
Yeah.
We were just branching over across the pond, so to speak, to meet some of our friends that we know from the interwebs who don't make it over here that often. So it got cut a little bit short, unfortunately. So,
yeah, but it was great. It was great, right? We had a great time here in London with people from the chat as well, from the Slack channel.
Yeah.
Gav, Phil, Ray Zero was here as well.
Yeah.
Andy.
Yeah, Phil and Ray Zero.
Bunch of us, yeah. Phil and Ray Zero.
Yeah.
It's good fun.
Yeah, who else was there? There were quite a few. Claudio. And,
Claudio.
The good old days, the good old before times. But Matt hasn't met you, and you were freelancing at the time back then. Had you just started?
No, I was working for an agency, like a PR and marketing agency. That same year, later that year is when I started working for Territory in August 2019. Yeah.
And so, how has that been?
So it's been great so far, so good. I've had the chance to work on many film and TV projects, and it's been great experience. I've been improving a lot and in many different aspects, and it's been great. It's a bit funny how I landed a job there because it was through Nick Lyons actually.
Oh, okay.
Who you guys have met, I guess, right? Yeah, great guy, great artist as well. I met him at a VR event earlier that year before I joined. So in
was
May.
Was it in actual real life or was it in VR?
Yeah,
it was a VR event. So
yeah,
sure. Okay.
Yeah, it was a talk about VR and yeah, he talked about a couple of projects that he worked on, and at the end of the talk, I just went up to him, said hi, and just talked for a couple of minutes, and I said that I loved the work at Territory and such, and he said, "Yeah, mate, like send me your reel and I'll pass it on to HR." And literally the day after that, they sent me an email saying, "Hey, Pedro, would you like to come over for an interview next week?" and I was super pumped. It was the happiest day of that year for sure. So
that's cool.
That's awesome.
so yeah,
That's super cool.
it's I had been willing to work at Territory for quite some time now, actually, because on my way to work, my previous job, I had to walk by Territory, so I would look up the every time at the building and thinking,
Someday.
one day I'll land a job there.
You see all these other motion designers walking in as you're walking past.
Actually,
and then you continue walking to your job with your head down, and the Charlie Brown song plays.
Yeah, sometimes listening to your podcast, guys, to motivate myself to work on personal projects to up my game as well. You know,
that's cool.
I remember you were doing. You had those kind of what would you call them? Like those rainbowy metallic. Didn't you have like some rainbowy metallic business cards you were passing out?
Oh yeah.
And like throwing them around in the bathroom and everything, just for everybody to pick them up.
Yeah,
it's one way to get your name out there.
So
very 90s though, but yeah.
Let's go back though. Let's go back to the start and tell everybody how you got started, and if you went to school, didn't go to school, and how you learned what you learned.
Yeah, so I guess like a bit like most of us here, I just taught myself by watching tutorials, good old Andrew Kramer After Effects basics tutorials. That was back in the day, maybe 2008, 2009. That's when I started using After Effects. I'm a bit more well-versed in After Effects than cinema, I think, over the years. I mean, yeah. But I think the real inception of it all was starting with Photoshop, like playing around with Photoshop when I was 15. I'm now 33, so it's rained since then, and that's how I started, just playing around with Photoshop, and then started playing around with After Effects. I also did a degree in audiovisual communications back in Spain, which is where I'm from originally. And after that, I did a master's degree in art direction for advertising.
Cool. Okay, nice.
Still in Spain, yeah. And then after that,
you were able to do like, because you kind of come from the same background we do, which is maybe a little more video, I guess.
A bit more production.
Yeah.
And so
yeah.
You know, trying to get into this world, usually technically is fairly easy. But then when it comes to the art of it, art direction, color theory, all of that, did you get that when you went for your art direction?
Yeah.
What was it called? What was the degree called?
So my degree was audiovisual communications, and there we learned about like media in general. Is closely, that type of degree is closely tied to journalism actually.
Okay.
But you can end up working on TV as a TV program director, film director, that sort of stuff. But then I specialized in art direction for advertising, because at the beginning when I finished my first degree and before I did my master's, I wanted to work in advertising, not knowing that well what I wanted to do really, but I knew that it had to be in the creative field. So I prefer to focus on art direction and the look of things. I've never considered myself a very technical guy. Still to this day, I prefer to focus on direction.
Was the ad stuff more like, was the advertising stuff more about marketing and advertising, or was it more like the color theory and the actual art?
It had a bit of everything, but it was stronger on the art, really, on the basic theory. Yeah, color, composition. That was.
What made you decide to go back and get your master's?
Well, I thought that first of all, in Spain, many people have a master's degree.
Okay.
It's almost like a natural progression that people, when they finish the degrees, they just do a master's for a year or two.
Okay.
I did the same, also because in Spain the job market is not the best.
Okay.
It's not that bad at the moment, but it's traditionally it's never been the best. And spending that extra year after your degree, it's almost like postponing what's inevitable, which is not having a job. And yeah, I guess also because I wanted to take it up a notch, take my education up a notch. At the same time, as I was studying, I would just watch tutorials and try to learn the most I could. So
that's cool.
I'm
checking out your website right now, and your reel, of course.
Oh, okay.
Tell us about. Too late.
Another one now.
They've seen everything.
Yeah. That's right.
Tell us about like some of your favorite projects, I guess, before Territory. Like, what were you working on at that point?
Okay. So when I finished my master's degree,
that's my name. Sorry.
Yes.
Yeah. Dave's is there as well.
That's funny.
These are all personal projects, actually. So when I finished my master's degree, I was an English teacher actually for a year, a bit less than a year. Yeah, I was. Yeah, back in Spain, and then I moved to London in 2014, and I landed a job at a marketing agency. I lasted maybe like 7-8 months there. Then I got another designer's job. It was a graphic designer. I did a little bit of motion as well, but not as much. Then I landed another job at a marketing agency, a bigger one. And there I would do a lot of explainer videos, corporate explainer videos, which is my favorite.
Got to put in your time, you know.
Yeah. It was sometimes it was a bit of a pain. You can be very creative with them, obviously, but sometimes the topics are so dry that it's but it was a good experience anyway, and during that time I would go back home after my 9 to 5 and work on personal projects. So up until very recently, all the projects that you could see on my website were personal. So I'm a huge believer on the power of personal projects, because that's where you can really test new techniques,
experiment,
and just create your own voice, right? Because when nobody's paying you, you're
the director.
Exactly. You're the director of your own piece. So
there's no changes.
So yeah, that's what I would do.
Know? And there's no changes.
That's always the best.
Perhaps
or there's way too many changes that you just can never get to. That's funny.
But you're the one who says, okay, we can move on from this, right? And I love it. And still to this day, I work on personal projects or little tests and such. In fact, I'm rendering something as we speak, so I hope that doesn't screw up the record.
Hopefully not.
That's funny. What made you decide to move from Spain to the UK specifically?
Well, the nice weather and the food.
Okay.
It's a joke, obviously.
I was gonna say it took me a bit, but yes.
No, it was
typical American, Matt.
Yeah.
In fact, I had been thinking about moving to the UK for quite some time before I did. So I moved to the UK in 2014, but I visited for the first time in my life in 2008, spent about 3 weeks here.
Cool.
And I went to a little city in the south by the beach called Bournemouth. Spent there a few days, and with a few friends we did day trips to other places. One of them was London. And when I came to London, I actually told myself that one day I would live here. And so I did. A few years later, I moved here. Also, mainly because the industry, the motion graphics industry, is much bigger. First of all, in the UK than in Spain, but so much more in London than any other European cities. So to speak, it's the hub.
Give me 1 second, guys. Sorry, my kid's school is calling.
Oh boy. He's in trouble.
So I was saying that London is the hub really for the motion graphics industry, the film industry, And yeah, I thought that it's the place to be if you are in this industry and want to work for a big studio. It has changed since, though. Obviously, location is not as important anymore.
Right.
But yeah, it's we're going to talk about that as well, maybe, because location not being important.
I guess one of the questions that I was going to ask you earlier is, I'm trying to figure out if we know anybody else who is there with you. I know we've talked to people from, there's the U.S. branch, right? Where is that located?
Yes. That's in San Francisco. That's with Marti Romances. He runs that studio in San Francisco, and with the slightly bigger studio is here in London.
Mm-hmm. Who do we know? Do we know anybody there? Who do you work with?
Joel.
Okay, yeah.
Joel Thomas. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you guys had him on the show, I think, a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And
I always say, he was on the show a few weeks ago, and it was like 6 months,
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I know for a fact that you guys know Nick, obviously, Nick Lyons, but he left. Literally, really? It's funny because he left 2 weeks before I joined, so we never got to work together.
Really?
Which is a shame.
No.
Yeah.
What is he doing now?
Yeah, what's he doing now?
I think he's freelancing.
Okay.
NickLyons.tv. Good.
All right.
And let's hook him up because he's such a great guy.
Yeah.
I don't know who else. Not sure. I don't think you've had any other person from Territory on the show other than Joel.
Mm-hmm.
I've been following you guys for a while, and I don't remember it, but
yeah.
So what was it like though during the pandemic?
Yeah, and are y'all still going? Are y'all going into studio now, or are you still remote?
We are mainly remote, but we are going to the studio at least a couple of days a week. Mm-hmm. We have a sheet where I don't know if I can say this. I guess I can. But yeah, we go a couple of days a week, basically, and it's good because you get to hang out with your colleagues after. Right. It's just the connection that you establish in person is just.
It's not the same as online. Not the same as online at all. Yeah.
There are certain aspects that are better though, like because when you share screens and you can point out certain things with a marker and stuff. I think it still works, but the connection, the personal connection that you have, which is important as well, it's just you cannot replace that, I think.
For sure.
How difficult was it though? Because like sometimes, like I know some studios before COVID were just so structured and so locked down and so opposed to any sort of remote work. Was it that kind of situation, or was it pretty easy to move over?
So for us, the designers, I feel like it was fairly easy. However, if you ask the IT managers, they might tell you a completely different story because, I mean, honestly, just a big shout out to all IT people out there working for companies, studios and such, because I'm pretty sure that what they've achieved is just quite big because it's a big security challenge. Just imagine that we're working on film and TV shows, big NDAs.
Don't want spoilers and stuff like that. Yeah, exactly. I can imagine.
Yeah,
exactly. And it must be a massive challenge. However, for us, the artists, in my case at least, I have a decent PC at home, so I was already set up from the get-go. But some other people just had to borrow laptops and such, and I mean we're still able to remote in and send renders to the farm and everything, so it works pretty smoothly. And
are you doing most of the work from home and then transferring stuff over to like a central server or something, or are you working through like Teradici or something like that? You know,
exactly. Yeah. We're remoting in.
Cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I found that like doing it that way helps keep everything pretty secure, you know, because as long as you've got good employees who aren't going to like, you know, transfer files from one to the next or something like that. I mean, if they were going to do that, they were going to do that whether they were remote or not, you know?
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
And so, you know, as working remotely through, you know, TeamViewer or, you know, Parsec or something, you know, I mean, it's to me, it's basically just as safe, if not safer, you know, than
I mean,
everyone taking
as long as you
home.
got the bandwidth and as long as you got the right software, TeamViewer is pretty awful for doing motion graphics.
Terrible.
It's great for tech support or whatever, but it's not. I mean, Parsec just
I was talking to Barton the other day, and they've got an employee in the Ukraine, and they for some reason, like, the Ukraine shut down, like, or wouldn't allow TeamViewer to access, you know. And I had mentioned Parsec to him. He used Parsec, and he was able to remote in no problem to their computers. It's crazy. Yeah.
They were down. The problem is you're at the mercy of it. S3 or something if it goes down. It was down this week.
AWS, or whatever, Amazon stuff, Amazon servers.
Yeah, I was trying to just. I usually remote to this computer over here because it's a sideways monitor. You know, and it's kind of hard to access in the way it's not necessarily headless because there's a monitor, but it's not a good accessible station over there.
For sure.
So I always use Parsec, and when AWS was out this week with all of those issues, Parsec was out. I was like, I literally can't. This computer is right here, and I'm gonna have to use my feet and walk all the way to the other side of the room. But
you use your hands. It's like a baby's toy.
Yeah. So with the remote stuff, I guess, have you had any issues like that? Do you have any issues like with control? The biggest thing for me is trying to rotate in Cinema 4D sometimes, depending on the software.
Yeah, good luck with that. Yeah, that's a bit of a downer. There's always a bit of lag, obviously, which is expected. So in Cinema, actually, sometimes what I do is I work locally and then I copy the file. If it's like a quick setup in Cinema. If it's a bit more of a complex scene, I try to work from the office. I haven't had that many projects where I have to work with a complex Cinema 4D scene, but yeah, when I do, I try to work from the office, or like copy the file locally and then copy it to the server. After Effects works pretty well. It's decent. I don't see that much lag. One downside that I see mainly is communicational, really. Like maybe somebody's like in the loo or having lunch or whatever, and you need to tell them something at that very moment. That can be something like missed calls and that sort of stuff, like having different schedules, right? That's one thing, because when you're in the office, you can see if the person is available and such, right? So that's one thing.
What do you all use to communicate? Slack or
Discord?
We have Slack, Slack.
I love Discord though, for just being able to pop in and talk to people and stuff, you know. Video wise. But
But you know, so this is only because we don't pay for the full version of Slack. Like, Slack is actually very nice when you pay for the full version. You can do huddles, which is basically, you know, you can gather a bunch of people together to just do a quick video or audio chat, you know. It's like, hey, let's hop into a huddle real quick, which is really nice, you know.
Or get it for free in Discord.
Or just get it for free in Discord, right?
Yeah.
So
we do that, yeah. We do jump on huddles every now and again, yeah. That's good.
What is your typical day? Like, what is your role? What's your typical day, and what is the workflow like for a project there?
So it depends. So my kind of forte, if you will, is FUI.
Cool.
Futuristic user interfaces or fictional user interfaces. So in fact, it's so what I'm going to say is very similar to what Angie Ferret said a few weeks ago, actually, because I would imagine that the nature of her work is very similar to mine. So Yeah, it depends on what you're working on. For me, typically I would work on either a film or TV show, normally doing like screen graphics, and this can be either screen graphics that are going to be played in on set, or we do graphics in post-production, basically. So we create the graphics, animate them according to the actor's performances, and then somebody else or ourselves, we just integrate them into the footage. And to be fair, I prefer the second option. I prefer to do to cater my animation to the actor's performance, because it's I think it's easier. Because the other way around, if you have to do on-screen graphics, normally what we do is we export either 10 or 20-second loops, and then somebody on set plays those videos, and that's how it works. It's some directors prefer that, because sometimes you can get more genuine reactions from the actors, because they are seeing the graphics, right?
But it's got to be hard to match shot for shot. Like if you have something playing at a certain spot.
Continuity directors having a field day with that one.
Yeah. We normally export like a bunch of clips that are going to account for certain actions. So we know these in advance, obviously, and we just account for them when we're animating. So, for example, let's say that one actor is going to press a certain specific area of the screen, or this is happening, or is going to set off this bomb, or whatever. So we do that, and that could be a clip, and then another clip that is played right after that is going to account for, I don't know, like a map that is going to show like a bunch of dots going red or something like that. It's something that is
sorry.
From. Sorry, go ahead.
The actor puts let's say they put their finger on the screen to press a button, right? Like that's got to be a little bit tedious if you're making that beforehand, because they have to like follow it. It's unnatural, right? Like
I don't know. I feel like
it
that would
forces them to do a very specific motion at a very specific time, right? Like they have to coordinate it. And then, of course,
it's called acting, Dave. That's what they're professionals for.
When you put it in post, you can just like track their finger instead, and so it doesn't they don't have to stop what they're doing acting, to follow that exact motion. I don't know.
Yeah, but at the same time, sometimes that's better, because it's not rare at all seeing an actor that is doing like a swipe with their hand, and like it is very unnatural. Like you wouldn't do that, but that's the action, right? And you need to work with that in post. There's no other take. Is what it is you have to make the most out of that action.
Yeah, like you have to work around their actions versus creating the entire animation yourself, and then the actor working around you.
Yeah,
I feel like that way would be much easier.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because you have full range. Like they're told. I'm assuming they give you like a set of instructions. It's like, okay, they hit this button. It says fire. Countdown 3 seconds. Screen goes red. They hit cancel at the last second or something like that. So you've got a whole list of things, and you're just creating these cool elements. Then let the actor do their thing.
Yeah, both dynamics have pros and cons, really. So me personally, I prefer just working in post, because I prefer to cater my animation to what somebody has done. Most of the time, actors nail it. So it's all good. But
have you ever seen some where you're like, oh, come on, like you could do a better job than that? Or have you ever seen bad, phooey graphics on a show and been like, oh, what is this? Or like
yeah,
you're watching like this happens to me when I'm watching like TV with my wife or something, and I'll see like a bad cut or something, and I'm just like, oh, that just ruins the whole show for me. Or you accidentally see the boom pole in there, it's like, you know, I can imagine seeing some like really bad Fooey stuff could be detrimental for your viewing pleasure.
Yeah, but at the same time, you have to realize what this is about, right? FUI and many other areas of motion graphics, they're just there to aid a director tell a story, right? It's just to make a point, and that's probably the most important thing about screen graphics, is that your thing is just nothing. It appears for a few frames, sometimes less than a second on screen, and it's just about telling a story, and that story is the director's story. Ideally, if everything works well in production, is the director's story. Well, your job is, or my job is to help tell that story. Sometimes FUI graphics are just very bare bones, basic. Just they want to get a point across, and that's all you need to do. Sometimes, for example, on Marvel films, you need to get a point across as well as elevate the product in terms of its looks, right? You need to make something super flashy, very futuristic, abstract, that is going to wow the viewer, basically. So yeah, it has FUI has many different aspects as well.
If you're doing so, let me ask you this. If you're doing, so say for example, you know, they give you footage and they're like, okay, we need you to replace these screens, or that we need this like 3D animated Fooey thing, you know, do you comp everything? Like, do you do the work and then comp it all, you know, or do you sometimes like do the work and then hand off to someone else, some other company, or back to whoever studio, you know, to do the comping and the lighting and stuff like that?
Hardly ever. At least at Territory, I would imagine that this is the same at other studios. Hardly ever one artist does everything.
I'm sure.
Yeah, it's very. We have a relatively complex pipeline where, I mean, my job normally is just to concept stuff, create the graphics, static graphics in Illustrator normally. We just present those to the client. When they give us green light, we start animating. And then we have compers who integrate those graphics into the footage. So for a good example is Brave New World, that TV show that I've got it on my website. The project is there. So for that one, that was actually my first project using a VFX pipeline, and I learned quite a few things on that one. My job was basically concepting and creating graphics, static, and then animating them. And sometimes I would do like a crappy comp where you can, just to give the VFX soup and the art directors and everyone involved an idea of what it's going to look like, but it's not properly comped. Obviously, the compers do a much better job of integrating the graphics and adding new effects, even, and elevating what you do as a designer, right? So
is this based off the book Brave New World?
It is, yeah. Aldous Huxley's book. Yeah, it's a show on ABC. I'm not sure if there was going to be a second season at all. That's the first one. And yeah, we worked on that for about 9-10 months. It was my first big project.
So you do so you were talking about Illustrator, building a lot of the elements out in Illustrator, and then do you take them over to After Effects?
Yeah.
And how much your work is done in cinema?
I would say about it depends on the show. On that show, Brave New World, I was in cinema maybe like 25% of the time.
Okay.
Not that much. Many times what we use it for is if we are creating like a screen that's going to be an on-screen graphics. We sometimes make like hero objects in cinema. We use it for that quite a lot, actually, for hero objects that have to be a bit more complex, and have something more going on visually.
Like maybe there's like something being scanned or something, like you're talking about, like
exactly, yeah. We use X particles a lot. X particles, you know, a lot of passes. Passes is a big thing in FUI. Actually, that was one of the passes is one of the, when I started incorporating passes more in my workflow, that I think that took it to an extra level, I think. Because
what kind of different passes are you rendering out? So
it's not uncommon to have, for an L pass, it's one that is very typically used in FUI graphics.
Yeah. Okay.
I like to use the ambient occlusion pass and invert it as well. I do that a lot.
Okay. Cool.
An inverted AO, a lot of wireframe passes, cell renderer or hair. We do that a lot, actually. Like when you convert edge to splines, and put a hair material on it, it renders super fast.
Yeah,
which is very important as well in our workflow. So we do that a lot, and just deep glow on everything and call it a day.
Yeah. Is that Octane that you're using for that hair render stuff?
For the hair render stuff, no. Actually, we use Redshift as a GPU renderer at the studio, and also Arnold.
You can. It's the same type of thing with Redshift.
Well, I was asking because you were looking at this week, trying to figure that out.
Yeah, it was, and that's why I found out that it's basically the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My pool guy's here. Just give me 1 second, guys. You guys keep talking. Right. I'm sorry.
That's okay. We use as a GPU render Redshift, and then Arnold as well, but also physical and standard. In fact, we use a lot of standard for FUI stuff.
Yeah, I can imagine it's fast, right? It's
super fast, of course. Yeah. When I did this talk for Maxon earlier this year, a lot of the time I was using the standard renderer because for what we do, which is very graphical, the treatment is just more than good enough with the standard renderer, and you render super quick. So it's all good with that.
Yeah, I mean, a second a frame sometimes for very simple stuff like that, and it's kind of like, what's the point of trying to do it GPU? It probably would be slower to do it in GPU by the time it
I thought it was. I mean, when you don't know that much about the process, one can make the mistake of thinking that everything comes as it is from the camera, or it's just you tweak stuff in After Effects, just add a couple of effects and such. But it's not. If you break down one of our projects, you'll see dozens of passes. Sometimes it's sometimes what we do is just use the same pass repeated with different effects, and you overlay it on top, or add it on screen mode or something like that, and that gives it that interesting look. So,
do you ever get bored of Fooey? Like, or like, what do you do? I guess, what do you do to keep it like fresh and to stay interested in it?
Yeah.
Because I imagine that there's a lot of different things you can do, but like, example, if I were doing just one specific thing all day, every day, I feel like I'd have to find a way to spice it up a little bit.
Yes. So I do a few things, I'd say. First of all, no project is the same. And the good thing about working in these type of projects, FUI projects, is that you get to at least do some research. I was going to say at least understand. Not so much understand, but at least you do some research on various different topics. So sometimes you're going to be creating like screen graphics for a submarine, for a car, for, I don't know, like an exhibition center, like a spaceship. So every project is very different, and within the same project, you get to work on different sets where the nature of the graphics is very different one from another. So that's you get to learn about DNA, what DNA looks like, or like representations of DNA.
Yeah.
That's a very typical one. I don't know, like more militaresque graphics.
I guess you get to do a lot more, like when you're, you were talking about the hero stuff. That's when you really get to do a bunch of new stuff, right?
Yes. Yeah. When something has like an important hero element, that's where you put more effort in making it look flashy, right? Because most likely is going to be like a central element on the screen that's going to appear. It's going to be perhaps even fundamental to the story. So that's when you spend more time on it. Back to variety. When you are a little bit, at least in my case, when I'm a little bit tired of working in FUI, keep in mind that I'm usually playing around cinema and work, or either that or doing a personal project at the same time, right? So I have that variety. The only other problem is that I don't get time off the screen, basically.
Right.
That's perhaps a bigger problem for me. But yeah, no, I try to spice it up. If I am too tired of working on like an FUI project, I most of the time I have like a side project. In fact, I do have one now that allows me to, just stay away from the 2D graphics for a bit. And in fact, earlier this year, I was involved on more Cinema 4D related projects at the beginning of the year. And I was actually missing working on an FUA project, and I did one, a personal one called Arion 24, and there you go. So it's so far I haven't got super tired of it. I'm not burnt yet. I'm not going to say I'm not going to be anytime soon, but so far I'm good.
Do you ever get to go on set, or is that a very specific job for a specific person?
No, that depends on the availability of every designer, what kind of graphics you're working on. So, for example, I got to work on, I guess I can say now because the film is out. I got my very first FUI project was actually the James Bond film, the latest James Bond film.
Oh, okay.
And I got to work on set for a couple of days, and that was before COVID. And but it was like it was not really. I cannot consider it a project that I've worked on for long because it was only for a couple of weeks, and actually I was working with somebody else's graphics, and that is actually that's the very moment I learned that at a place like Territory and I guess any other relatively big studio, you don't really get to own much of a project. Everything is a shared effort, and I think it's great that it's that way, because you start working on something, but then 2 days down the line somebody else takes it and elevates it, or you do the same when somebody else's graphics. So absolutely everything is a shared effort, and no artist can say, oh, this is mine, I'm responsible for this. So egos are not very welcome. So.
What about Unreal in all of this? Because one of my questions would be, you're designing all of this stuff, and these interfaces, well, they look complex. The things that the actors are doing with them are not that complex. They're swiping, they're hitting buttons, whatever, right? So is there any talk of integrating a little bit more of actual programming into the things that you're doing somehow, so they can actually touch screen and not have to time it right and fake it on set?
Territory, actually, we've got people who are capable of using it, and I know that at least there have been a couple of projects where we've used it. I personally don't use. I mean, I've opened it and have placed a few objects around, a few lights and such, but I haven't properly used it. However, it's I was going to say it's the future, but it's not. It's already the present, really. So
right.
I think there's a lot of potential, especially for graphics. For the type of graphics that we do. I worked on a project where I'm not going to say much about it, obviously, but it was like the last stage of it was integrating the graphics that I made into Unreal Engine. The thing is that you basically need to make them from scratch. So nothing that I made in After Effects was very usable. Really, it's used more as a reference, because then the graphics, you need to make them again from scratch and built in Unreal. Mm-hmm. But yeah, there are plenty of possibilities, and I think that's the program that I should be learning. It's just that I've got too many tools to learn, because I'm already learning a few, so adding Unreal now on top of that would be a bit too much, perhaps.
Yeah, I wish I could learn everything. I always say I wish I could just pause time and learn a thing, and then unpause time and then keep moving. But you know,
guess I'm gonna have to buy the Mograph.com course on that.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Wimbush's class on that. Yeah,
that's right, everybody. Mograph.com/classes. I had another. There were some questions in the chat. I want to backtrack a little bit, and if anybody else has questions, feel free to enter them in right now. I did like Francisco's comparison on having the actors kind of pantomime things. He says it's like taking the door handles off a door, comp them in later, and then hoping that their hand is in the right place for each take. Which completely, that's a great analogy. And then he also asks, do you work on both TV and film, and can you talk about how the pace of one format affects your process versus the other? Are the pacings different for film and television?
Slightly different, yeah. It depends on the production budgets. It depends on many factors, but in my experience, I think that the film industry is slightly higher paced than TV. It's high paced anyway, because directors want everything really quickly. You need to react to changes very quickly as well. So that's why as a designer, you need to build things in a way where you can make changes, or you can react to changes speedily. So we account for that. Obviously, we are used to the pace, and once you've worked on a project or two, you pick up the speed. So it's not a problem. It's something that I knew before I joined Territory. Actually, I knew that speed was that could. And it's actually, I've noticed that many of the new joiners, people that have joined Territory over the years, they mention that as a concern. It's like, am I fast enough? Am I quick enough?
Right.
That tends to be a concern, because the film industry is fast paced, not only just for us, but for everyone who works on a set or in the VFX industry, right? So,
well, it's about knowing what corners to cut.
Yes.
You have to cut corners sometimes and make a informed decision on, is this little thing that I'm doing right now, super valuable or relevant? If it's something you're going to end up spending an hour on, and then you realize, okay, this is only going to be on screen for 2 frames, that's probably not the best use of your time. So
yeah, it teaches you about working in this industry, and at least taking a look at what things look like afterwards, once on the show and in context. It makes it all very relative. And you think that, obviously, because you're working on this as a designer, this is your world, this is your day-to-day life, and you go down the rabbit hole and focus on a lot of the details. Hello, Matt, again.
There he is.
Hi,
I was just texting you. I was like, you've been gone 10 minutes.
I'm sorry. Yeah, it's the last day that the pool guy is going to be here, and we've got it all filled, and he's showing me stuff, and now I'm out of breath from running upstairs.
The people pool.
So good.
The people pool.
Are you gonna dedicate it to Winkleman?
Yeah, have a ribbon cutting ceremony.
Yeah. You need a plaque.
No.
That's
a good idea.
Well, Rev came up with the name for my Beeple patio. It's going to be called Winkleman Terrace, and I'm going to get a little plaque and put it up.
Yeah.
Legit.
The Winkleman Grotto, The beep bottle. I don't know.
The Beepleman.
Mr. Beepleman Grotto. I don't know.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Nice.
What I think you should do, honestly, those people who do paintings on the bottom of a pool, I think you should put his face on the bottom of your pool.
No.
Every time
I would
you
have
jump
to
in,
drain
you'll
the
see
water.
his face.
I would have to drain the water and
next
then
time
fill
you
it
got to
back up.
drain it. Sometime.
I don't think you ever need to drain a pool.
Well, just
unless you have to
depends.
do like a lot of work.
Unless somebody, goes to the bathroom in it, right? Then you have to like drain the whole thing.
I don't think you have to drain the whole thing.
No, that's only if it's a
Just
public pool.
Throw some chemicals in it. Let
Yeah.
the cleaner go for a while. Then you're
I
good.
think Winkleman's face on the bottom of your pool would be
Nah.
pretty cool.
Break
think
a
of the-
bottle of champagne to
The
christen
Google
it.
Earth image of it alone, the value, you're going
That
to
would
Google
be
Earth
funny.
and you see his
that would
face
be very funny.
in the satellite view. Come on now.
I don't know if I
know?
can sell my wife on that.
Yeah, just
Put
to
an
remind
Easter egg
you.
there, like on Grand Theft Auto games.
Yeah. Can
Yeah.
you
It's
do
a
that
good
with Grand
place.
Theft Auto?
I don't know. I know that in many Grand Theft Autos, every time there's a pool, there's something there.
Yeah.
All
There's
right.
always an Easter
Maybe-
egg there.
Maybe I get like a Beeple head pool cover, right? So when the pool's not being used, I cover it.
Oh,
so
there
at
you go.
some point,
There you go.
Google Earth will take a picture of my backyard with it covered,
Yeah.
and you'll see Mike's face.
Yeah, Sarah
be
says
good.
you should break a bottle of champagne on it to christen it, and then you're gonna have
And
to drain it.
glass
Then the
just goes
glass is everywhere.
in the pool. Oh man.
Anyway, back to motion graphics. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm sorry. I
Matt
had to leave. I apologize.
Matt and Brett
Right.
in the chat were
You
both
have a
talking
life.
about what Unity is going to do with the Weta VFX tools. We didn't talk about that on the show, did we? That was that big buy.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
They purchased them for how much? It was a
billion.
pretty big sum of money. Yeah.
2 billion, 1.6 billion, something like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's
Yeah.
the thing, you don't hear a lot about Unity right now.
Yeah.
Because
I
Unreal
know.
is just,
Unreal's killing it.
Speaking of which,
Yeah.
why don't we do a little Ravcock, what's your flavor?
What's your flavor?
What's your flavor?
Let's
I mean,
talk about
guys,
this.
I'm a fan of the show.
Oh,
yeah.
Pedro, it's so nice to have
He knows
someone
all
who
the
actually
things.
listens to the show on the
Yeah.
show, so I
Yeah,
don't
every
look like
single
such an
episode.
idiot.
Every single episode.
Yeah,
Yeah, so now I won't be as embarrassed when Dorpy shows up.
that's right. That's right. Dorpy for life, man. Dorpy for life. So, 3090 still having trouble getting them. Waiting on what's the app? The Hot Stock app
Yeah.
to notify us, and then it's always too late, no matter what you do. And I don't know what's going to happen with that. And everybody's like, well, pretty soon they're going to have a new version of these cards, and it's like, yeah, but how
know.
long is that?
There's going to be the 3090 Ti's that are coming out in January.
That you'll be able to get the following January.
Right, exactly.
Wait, 30 or 4090?
3090 Ti, I believe.
Or 3090 Ti? Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Good lord, what?
Oh,
Or is it
oh.
3080? Is there a 3090 Ti or just a 3080
There's
Ti?
the 3090 Ti,
What's the difference?
3070 Ti, and 3050 reportedly launching in January.
Damn.
Launching
For two
January
January.
27th.
Launching in January, available 2024.
Right.
What's
Wonder what the,
difference? What's the Ti?
I don't know.
What's so special about it?
It says product availability January 27th. I don't know. A little bit
Should
more,
be in quotes.
nothing,
Air
really.
quotes. Availability.
The exact same memory, a few, like 300 extra CUDA cores, and 21 gigabit per second memory speed. So it's the faster memory. Which, okay.
They just
Maybe-
need
hopefully it
faster
doesn't
run
cores.
full.
Overload whenever or overheat. The new ones don't
Oh,
overheat
DRAM.
whenever you're. Yeah.
Whenever you're
Anyway.
mining. Yeah.
I'm after a 3080 Ti myself because
Mm-hmm.
they're hard to find, those guys.
All this
They're
stuff
really-
is hard to find.
So hard to find.
An old boss of mine called me up and he's like, "Hey, are 3060s good?" I was like, "If you can get your hands on them, and even if you don't need them, you could just turn around and sell them on
Yeah.
eBay for, And so he was at Micro Center, and he saw someone in line with a 3060, and he asked the guy, "Hey, where'd you get that?" And he goes, "Oh, they got a bunch of them back there."
Oh.
So he just ran and grabbed one,
Yeah.
Like, all right, yeah.
Actually, that's a funny topic. The thing about spending money on graphics cards as a full timer. Because I mean, I have a full-time job. I understand that a freelancer is just the means of making money, right? Like you're investing on your business, on yourself. But as a full-timer, I think, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I find it a little bit harder to spend money on my setup.
Yes, absolutely.
Right?
I totally get that. I totally get that, because you feel like your company should be buying your equipment for you, you know?
Especially my company already provides the equipment,
exactly.
right? So it's all good.
The thing is, like, yeah, when I'm not at my desk working for our job, I don't, like, I have a gaming computer, but, like, it's got a 2080 in it, and I'm perfectly fine with that. I don't need anything else, you know? I would have been fine with a 1080 in it, you know?
Yeah, that's the thing. I've got a 1080 Ti. I mean, it's funny because, so I've got a 1080 Ti, which is now quite old, right? It's got 3-4 years, and that's what I've had. However, I regret nothing about having made that purchase, because that is, in essence, is something that allowed me to take my game up a bit. And perhaps that's one of the reasons why I got the job that I've got. Right. So you have to find a balance, I guess, between how much you spend, and in order to become better and keep up with technology and changes and what's going on in the industry. But also, like Don, I would imagine that you shouldn't spend that much money as well. So I don't know what to do, because these cars are so expensive. And when you look at the return on investment, like, it's technology. Technology is like, it depreciates so quickly and so much that you have to think about it twice, right?
Return on investment on these, if you're a contractor, if you're working full time, it's different. But if you're a contractor, it's like you're not going to get a return on investment if you buy a 3090 to play video games. Right. You know, you're going to spend a lot of money. You're going to be very happy with it. I guess your return on investment is like your
joy.
Like, you know, how great it looks, and, you know, how quickly you can pwn a noob. But like, when you get these as a contractor, there is some return on investment, because I got to say, you know, we brag about how many 3090s we got our hands on, but having those at our disposal, even though render farms are available, has been super valuable to me, to be able to see my IPR so quick and render stuff out so quick, and it's a time saver. That's the return, is your time, I guess.
Yeah, especially when you're going from one computer that has like 3 980 Ti's or something to 2 3090s. It's like, that's a huge speed increase, you know.
And we're able to buy more of them because we're able to be more efficient and pump more renders out, and then buy more of them. Like, it's
it's real nice being able to throw a render at night and then not having it continue in the morning, you know. You're like, okay, I'm done, you know.
But back when I was sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Dave.
When I was working for the man, and I went home at night, I would feel like, man, I really need more power. But again, it was the thing you said. It's the, do I spend money on this or not? But spending money on, I think, what was I on way back in the day? A 970.
980. Were you on a 970?
I was on a 970, and I upgraded to a 980 Ti, and I was like, oh my gosh, like, it was worth it, and it kind of helped me from a career standpoint at the time, because I was able to go to my superiors and say, here is what we need to do. It was like I was spending time and money on my own R&D, essentially.
Right.
Yeah. I don't think spending money, for me personally, spending money on a new card would be a disaster economically. Also because it's, you know, it's an investment on myself, right? An investment on being able to make, like you said, Matt, I think the biggest advancement of GPU rendering is not the rendering itself, it's the IPRs. The possibility to make those micro decisions, those tiny changes to adjust new things on a scene fast. That's the biggest thing, rather than rendering, because most of the time you render overnight or or just leave it rendering and do something else. But it's just those micro decisions. The fast IPR is the absolute game changer. And no, go ahead.
And $1,500 for a card is a lot of money.
Yeah,
it's a lot of money.
It's funny because like it is and it isn't.
And
like
it isn't.
You get to a certain point in like building your company and stuff where it's like, okay, $1,500 for a card, that's no big deal.
Because
right?
you know the
But
value of what it's going to bring you.
2 years ago,
Yeah.
3 years ago, Dave and I, $1,500 for a card, no way. We wouldn't have even, that wouldn't even have been on the table. And then you get to like already been chewed, or territory, I'm sure. And it's like, oh, $20,000 for a new machine or A6000s. Yeah, no problem. Let's just do it.
Yeah.
NBD, pocket change.
Yeah.
The thing about having the 3090s at your disposal in general is that with the value that comes with that, I feel like there's a weird perceived value that people just don't get. So like, here's an example. If somebody said you need a new computer and you have to get a new computer to do some sort of contract work, right? And then it's $1,500. Be like, oh, that's not too bad. $1,500 for a brand new computer. But I think it's the fact that like, you're like, I'm paying $1,500 for this little piece of plastic and metal.
Yeah.
And it just feels like that is so much money for this little thing. Somebody will easily drop $1,500 on a camera or a new machine or a Apple laptop. Like, no big deal, right? But there's something about $1,500 for this card. What? Like, it feels but like, once you do it, and then once you buy a second one, and then you kind of get the bug, and you're like, now I need a third one. Now I need to double this, and now I need another. Once you get to that point, the perceived value in your head really clicks. And anybody who's on the fence for that reason, I would say just do it, because you could always sell it right now, right? Like, people will buy these cards. If you regret your decision to get a 3090, if you can get your hands on one right now, you could sell it for double the price.
Absolutely.
Today, though.
Yeah,
today.
Yeah. Because the second-hand market is absolutely crazy, but it is today.
But look at how much the old ones are going for.
I was able to sell I think we bought 3090s for, when we bought them, they were like $1,000. No, they weren't even $1,000. What were they? Like $700 or $800. No, sorry, 980 Ti's. When I bought those initially, they were probably like $600, $700, $800. I don't remember, right? And so, but when I sold them, I sold it for $400 this year, Yeah.
And
it's like, okay, those are 6-7 year old, machines, and I basically got 50% of my investment back, and all that render time.
Yeah, and Jags is saying in the chat that it makes a big difference in Unreal. I can see that.
Yeah,
for sure, for the real time stuff. Yeah. Did anybody get a chance, by the way, to play The Matrix?
Oh, no, not yet.
Nope. Nope. I hardly ever play anymore, actually.
Yeah.
I was trying to figure out if I should do a video on this or not, or if if the moment's already gone.
Yeah.
But if y'all have a chance to even check out video.
What's his name? Winbush already did, honestly.
What?
Did a video on it.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, we'll look at that. We'll try and post that in show notes if that's out. So I loaded it up. Here's the deal. Like, here's the good and bad. Here's what I'm liking about it so far. First of all, it looks amazing. It shows off Unreal 5 what is it called? Nanite?
Nanite, yeah.
And
Nanite, yeah.
What I didn't like is the way they went about it. Like, if it's a demo, just let me get to the demo. They tried to throw in like a storyline and kind of gamify it, but they didn't actually like let you shoot at anything. The only thing you could do is aim at this tire or aim at this tire, and you could switch which tire or which portion of the car you were shooting at. Once that was all said and done, I was impressed with the actual demo. This feels like you're walking around in Grand Theft Auto, right? But it is so realistic. Now, sometimes there were trouble with the cars. They were kind of bumping around a little. And obviously you can't, like, hijack a car like from somebody in the street.
Right.
This isn't Grand Theft Auto. So the only thing that you could do is you could go into a side street or a curb and pick up a car that was not being used by somebody. You could roll around. As soon as you crashed into somebody, by the way, the crash physics were great. But as soon as you crashed into somebody, the car would like turn into like matrix cubes and dissolve. But what I really loved about this demo is the fact that they let you peek under the hood, and that's what I was interested in. I know that's what a lot of people are interested in. I wish would be available for PC for people to really try it out. But you can pause the game. You can change the angle of the sun. You can fly, by the way, and we're talking like thousands of square miles of buildings and streets, and there's traffic systems. You can turn on the traffic system and change the amount of traffic and people. You can watch the traffic go with cubes instead of cars, so you could see how the patterns work and behave. The cool part for me was the fact that you could go in and see the passes live in real time. You could turn on a pass layer and say, I want to see instance layers, and I'm going to fly around the city. The best part about that is that you could actually do the nanite option, right? So let's say you're up in the sky, you're looking down at the city, you see all the buildings, but they look like triangles, like a pass with tries, right? Colored triangles. In the distance, you'll see a building, and the building only has 2 triangles on it, right? So it's basically the side of the building is only 2 polygons. As you zoom in and you get closer, it's kind of like an LOD thing, but not quite, right? It's like LOD based on an algorithm. I don't really know. But as you get closer, then the triangles, you start to see more triangles. So that resolution is changing. It's like it's almost like it's in a way the atoms that make up the thing. It's only based on what visually you can see at the time. Yeah. And so this level is just expansive as hell. Like, it's so crazy. The only thing I wish they would have done is at the beginning when they're showing a couple samples during the thing where you can't do anything, where it's just like playback of the demo, they show it at night on with the lights and everything. And for some reason right now that's not an option to say, okay, make it nighttime and turn on the lights in the city. I don't know why they're not. I don't know, maybe it's a limitation they're up against. Maybe they'll upgrade it. I wish you could have seen that, but there's no switch for it. But really impressive. It looks so real. If anybody has a chance to try it out, I'd recommend just looking at it. Check out the layers, check out all of that, because it's super cool.
Have you guys incorporated Unreal on any of the projects that you've been involved in?
No.
Have you used it much?
Not really.
No?
Nope, just went through Winbush's course. That was about it for me.
Yeah.
It's a good course. It's a very good course. Really gets you up and going with Unreal, but we haven't had the need.
Yeah. I think that once you start getting into Unreal to create the things that we create, like either a short film, or let's say that you work on a title sequence or something like that. Unreal, I think, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong or if you guys have a different opinion, but using Unreal is like this thing of the medium is a message, right? Like when you can create worlds in Unreal. You can create certain experiences that I don't think we are thinking in terms of motion graphics or current mediums, and we are applying them to virtual reality and real-time experiences. I think we are doing the same thing that when cinema was invented, people did, which is adapted theater. Just filmed in with one camera, just straight on, and that's it. It was just film theater. It was not. It didn't have a language, a cinema language that actually was generated over the years after that. I think sometimes I trace analogies between these two, like the inception of cinema and where we are living today with VR, AR, and all the new technologies. I think it's the same. I think it's going to have to be a case of a bunch of directors or new artists coming up with new ideas and developing a language around what you can make in VR. And many times I think about even how with because it's so immersive, you can almost tap into specific areas of the brain. And I don't know, like even create something that is like closer to a dream than anything we've seen before. Right? Or I don't know. I see the utility of these technologies, and I don't know, in so many different industries, and to create like super abstract stuff. I mean products that are gonna be able to abstract you within your own mind more than films or video games, even. You know, like things that are going to be able to make you explore new areas of your brain. That's what I think. Maybe I've gone too deep down the rabbit hole, but
well, I think AR is going to play into that a lot. I was reading what Jags was saying here in the chat, which is I lost it. Too many went by. I gotta scroll back.
He said, "Hey Matt and Jack, Dave, can we collab on an Unreal project?"
No,
or are
no,
you
no.
talking
This
about
is before
the?
That. He
I
said,
have a hard time with games being too realistic now.
Yeah, he says
I don't have PTSD, but I get some weird pings of anxiety playing the new Battlefield 5 because it looks closer to in real life.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he said motion graphics is great, but what if we could create a project for film cinema, but poured over an interactive experience? See, the interactive stuff, of course, that's something you kind of have to do in Unreal. But for us, like you were asking, okay, have you used Unreal for anything? The thing is, we have to have a reason to use it. Right. I don't feel a reason to move over. And the same thing applies to Blender, right? You've got a bunch of new people coming up in the industry right now, and they're going out there, they're searching the internet for how can I do 3D, and they're going to see Cinema 4D, they're going to see 3D Max and other stuff, and of course they're going to see Blender. And for them, if Blender's free, I'm going to hop on that. If that's their jam, whatever. But I was talking to EJ about this the other day. There's not a reason for me to go to Blender right now unless there's a specific thing I need it for. Why would I relearn something to do what I already do? Now, if the tools that I need to sculpt something or hard surface model something are better in Blender, then I'm going to go try and do that over there. But if what I'm doing right now makes sense, why would I reinvent the wheel? The same thing applies to Unreal. There's no reason for me to use it. If you're an Unreal person like Jags, who's been in Unreal, it makes sense. Oh, you already know Unreal, so why don't you do this thing in it? But it would be so much. I don't even know where to start on doing a client project in Unreal.
Yeah, and for me, it's like, what is the advantage right now?
Exactly.
Especially is it real-time rendering? If that's the case, I mean, I'm not too worried about that. Just like we were saying, we have enough firepower right now between us and being able to throw stuff to the render network. It's like we don't necessarily need the real-time rendering. We need why move over to Unreal for that? I don't know.
Yeah, I think for us, at least for me, at this point in time, fast enough is good enough. I don't think it has to be real time. Fast enough or close to real time is more than good enough for me. All I need is the capacity to make decisions quickly.
Yeah.
And to make changes quickly. That's all.
Yeah. I could see once we get our Rococo suit, if we were setting up actual physical cameras or something like that and tracking someone moving and stuff like that with the camera, I could 100% see us using Unreal for that. Versus cinema, because that's
what we're doing right now is the course is coming out, and Jeremy and I were trying to figure out how to render something out at 4K with high samples to make it look good, and to make it look the way we wanted it to look, we had to jack up the rate, and it was not real time anymore. So what is the point?
Yeah.
Unless it's going to be something interactive.
Yeah.
And that's kind of
interactive
how I feel.
Yeah. So.
And
yes, it's a different animal, and you need, I guess, with Houdini or any other program, really, you need to approach it with a completely different mindset.
Absolutely.
And it's just you. we tend to translate. I remember myself even at the beginning when I started using cinema, just to take it back a few levels, right? But like all I knew was After Effects, and all you like as humans, we learn by comparison and repeating patterns. So you try to relate what you know to the new thing that you're learning, basically. And many times you are making the mistake of trying to apply old techniques or old language to a new thing, right? Because that's the way we learn.
Right.
But over time, you learn to understand the new language, basically, and stop. It's like when you are learning. When I was learning English at school, when I was little, you start by comparing a sentence in English to your original language. You translate, but when you have a certain level, you speak English altogether. You don't need to translate. You get your mind gets the concepts in English, right, or any other language that you're learning. It's the same.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's important to know Unreal, I think, at least to navigate your way around it and to know when you need to use it. And I think it's going to play an important role, and there's a lot that you can do with it right now. But again, I think that a lot of average motion designers who are hearing the buzz, right? They're hearing the buzz about, oh, well, you can do motion graphics in Unreal now. I think there's still, for those people, if they're in Blender, if they're in Cinema 4D and After Effects, they're going to have to decide, okay, do I want to go all in on this, or do I want to do a case-by-case basis? And, you know, am I going to say, oh, we're going to do this project in Unreal because reasons, just because? Or is there an actual reason for it? I think that's important to think about. You don't want to go to a client and be like, oh, well, we're just going to do this in Unreal because we want to do your project in Unreal, period. End of sentence. There's got to be a reason for it. There's got to be a reason for you to move over. I
guess many times the reason is just being ahead of the curve technologically, which is many times, and many clients pay you for that sometimes, right?
Right.
They want what's cool, and the new kid on the block is Unreal. Well, give me whatever you have if you can use this program. Whether the story that you tell fits my narrative or not. Sometimes many stories don't make sense because of the format, the medium that they've chosen. It's just because, well, everything is an excuse to use this program, or everything is an excuse to use this technique. That happens a lot as well.
If all you have, what is it? All you have is a hammer. Every problem looks like a nail.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
There's a great reason to use Unreal for motion graphics projects. For example, let's say you have a client that has like 100 graphics that have to bust out every single week, right, of something. And maybe you have a template for that. Brandon, in his course that's coming out, he actually goes into that a little bit with like a little title sequence. Okay, you want to change your credits each week or whatever that is, right? And they're all integrated into the scene. Here's how you do that. Now imagine you had a client that just had to spit out like crazy amounts of content in almost real time, and it's time crunch. That is a valuable situation where you would want to do something like that. But if it's something where you're going to have to crank up samples anyway, and it's going to take just as long as Octane or even Brigade, you know, you want to make that decision. And it's also going to, again, come back to that time thing. Do you have time? Like Jags is going above and beyond. He's doing his Halo deal right now, to learn how to do certain things in Unreal. That makes sense. If you have time to do that for a client, that totally makes sense as a learning thing. But like if Joe client came to us tomorrow and said we need something by Friday, I would not say this is the best time to hop into Unreal now with 3 days. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's part of it.
Yeah. So. It's I guess at this day and age it's good to have it up your sleeve if you have the capabilities to use it and keep an eye on what's going on with it, basically, and where things are going. But yeah, as a motion designer, personally, me, as of now, I don't see like I don't see learning it as an absolute emergency. But sometimes if you are one of those people who want to be ahead of the game, really, maybe you should be learning it, because like it's just what it is. Sometimes you
Jags is going to beat all of us out because he's learning it.
Yeah.
We'll be like, Jags, come be my be the one walking me through this. I'll pay you a premium.
Yeah. And those are the people that get paid a premium, actually. When,
right.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
right? Because they're specialists. People who are Houdini experts, for example.
Yeah.
Maybe there are so many more nowadays, right? But maybe 5 years ago, having a Houdini expert, that was, oh my God, that person would make a decent money.
Yeah.
Because they were not.
It's like flame artists, you know, back in the day. Flame artists made like easily 6 figures, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I guess at the end of the day, as long as you are on top of your game and trying to keep up with the latest trends, or at least technologically, and you have a passion and I don't know, something going on for you, like, I don't know, not everyone can be a technical director.
Yeah.
You know, you don't have to know absolutely everything about the tools you use, as long as you can, I don't know, express yourself or express your clients' desires, or like tell a story with the tools that you've got. That's more than enough, I guess. So.
Yeah, and characters too. I think once we get this suit, we're gonna find that we're doing a lot of character stuff in Unreal. But I think that is then going to export into cinema in the end for whatever we're doing. Still, I don't see that we would exclusively stay in Unreal at that point. So.
Yeah. On that note, guys, can I ask you two a question? Actually,
sure.
So, you guys,
this is unprecedented.
Guys, I mean, keep in mind, I'm a fan of the show. I've been listening to you for a long time. So, actually, on that note, I just wanted to thank you for inviting me to the show, because I'm very happy to be here. Cool. Anyway, back to my question. So, you both guys have a production company, right? And you are both designers. So do you complement each other well, in the sense that one is more technical and the other one focuses more on the
Dave does all the work, and I'm like the forward-facing face of the company.
he just turns on schmoozy Matt. Yeah.
No, honestly, like, okay, so the way it used to be, and I say used to be, like, this is a few years ago, before Mograph became much more a part of what we were doing every day. You know, we kind of had our own clients, or someone would recommend one of us, and so we would kind of just stick to our own clients, and we just pool all the money, or if we needed resources or whatever, we'd kind of work on stuff together. But eventually it's become to where, okay, projects are coming in because everyone knows us now as Nexus Motion. You know, it's not, oh, either Dave or Matt. Like, they know us as a company. Our clients do. So, you know, they may contact one of us or the other, but for the most part, you know, we will work on the same projects together. Lately, well, not lately, but like previously this year, you know, Dave has been working very heavily on Mograph to, you know, get things in the work and get the new stuff that we're launching ready, and, you know, doing a lot of social stuff. So he's been working on that. Yeah. Meanwhile, I've been working quite a bit on Nexus stuff. You know, anything that comes in, I'll try and handle that. If I need help, we'll pass over to Dave. Or because Nexus has been doing really well the past couple of years, and, you know, as sadly as it is, I think it's all thanks to COVID that we are doing so well. You know, because more companies are, you know, open to hiring remote workers. Right. You know what I'm saying? Right. And because of that, we're able to hire on freelancers to help us out with all this other stuff. So, you know, so Dave doesn't have to do like a really boring, you know, explainer video. He can focus on Mograph TV and
which Mograph, I would gladly do if I had the time.
Yeah.
But
absolutely.
So it's kind of for me. I think generally I've been in a more of a art directy role, or I'm going to set up this project and set up the look of it and then pass it to somebody else.
Yeah,
you know, in order to get back to.
I really think Dave is more technical than me. You know,
I'm pretty nerdy,
but I make passable animations. So
it works out
nice.
in the end,
Okay.
though. It works well.
Yeah.
So
Cool.
yeah. Should we do the drop?
Yeah, let's go over to the drop.
Okay. Did we cover everything? Any other questions? Oh no,
We didn't do Mograph recommends.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
I knew we were forgetting something.
Okay.
All right, we're gonna have a hard out here. We have a meeting apparently now at 2:30 today. So,
Yeah.
So we'll move through this fairly quick. Favorite movie?
Favorite movie of the last few years, because it changes, I guess. But of the last few years, I tend to watch every year, at least once.
Lord of the
Sicario.
Rings? Okay.
Sicario.
Okay.
Sicario. Yeah. I'm a dude. I'm a bloke. For films, I like. Actually, it's a good film. Not just the action. It's just.
What is it?
Denis Villeneuve. Denis Villeneuve is the director. Sicario, 2015.
I don't know that one.
With what's his name? Benicio del Toro.
Okay.
Emily Blunt. Was Josh Brolin.
Yeah.
Daniel Kaluuya is in there as well.
I don't think I've ever seen this movie.
Good cast, really good.
Okay.
Really good.
I'll put it on my list.
War on drugs, really cool.
Cool.
That's
Music.
It's one of my favorite ones. Hendrix.
Nice. Good choice.
I'll keep it easy. I mean, it's more than that. I've got a very eclectic taste, but yeah, Hendrix always Hendrix.
Nice.
While you're
choice.
working too, or
no. Well, yeah, actually on a Friday, yeah. But when I'm working on a Friday, yes.
Yeah.
Machine Gun. I like to play that one on Fridays.
Uh-huh.
I got a Friday playlist as well. Fagin Fridays.
I hate your
Fagin Fridays.
I would always know it was Friday when Dave would play that in the office when we were working in the same office. I'd be like, oh, it's Friday. And the songs would just get stuck in my head.
Yeah.
You've got Vietnam flashbacks.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. So Hendrix, and when I'm working, I listen to, like many other people, to a lot of instrumental stuff, film soundtracks, a lot of Hans Zimmer, a lot of actually something really cool. As I'm a big fan of Red Dead Redemption games, I listen to the ambient soundtracks that they've got in game.
Okay.
Really relaxing.
Interesting.
Yeah, very relaxing. And actually, those soundtracks, because they are Western kind of themed, right? That kind of inspires me quite a lot as well for the personal project that I'm working, which is around the American deserts and stuff.
Okay.
In 3D, it's a CGI short film that's taking me ages to finish.
You mean the Italian deserts?
Spaghetti Western deserts.
Spaghetti Westerns,
yeah. Exactly. The Italian idea of American deserts, which is Spain actually, because that's where they were filmed mainly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but So Red Dead Redemption ambient soundtracks really recommended.
TV show?
The Wire and Breaking Bad.
Oh.
You knew this one.
There you go.
There it is.
Yeah.
Actually, what have I watched recently that I liked? Well, Breaking Bad obviously is for me is one of the best, if not the best.
Yeah.
It's great. Better Call Saul as well, really good. Narcos. Everything revolves around the same, guys.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
So you just like drugs? Okay.
Yeah.
No, not
Shows and movies about drugs. All right.
Yes.
I got through the first. I don't know what you would call it. It was like the first 2 or 3 seasons were, what's his name? Who is the kingpin? My mind is blank right now. Who's the drug kingpin in the first 2 seasons?
Of Narcos?
Yes.
Pablo Escobar.
Escobar. Gosh.
Yeah.
That was like 2 or 3 seasons, and then it moved on to like other kingpins, and that I fell off after that.
Yeah, the first 2 seasons of Narcos is Pablo Escobar, so the Medellin cartel in Colombia. The third one was about the Cali cartel, still in Colombia, but with different actors that had already been in the first 2 seasons, but the story focused more on those who were still trafficking. And then those were the first 3 seasons, and then it moved over to Mexico, and it's altogether the name of the show changed to Narcos Mexico. There are another 3 seasons that have finished this year, actually. That's it. I've watched them all. I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of the show.
Maybe I should catch up on it. Once it got past Escobar, I kind of like fell off, and because the actors changed too, it was kind of
They are the best. To be fair, the first 2 with Wagner Moura, the Brazilian actor who plays Pablo. I mean, those are the best seasons. However, the first 2 of Narcos Mexico are really good as well, with Diego Luna, another Mexican actor that was in Rogue One and a bunch of other films. Yeah, he's really good as well. So highly recommended the first 2 seasons of Narcos Mexico.
Yeah,
cool.
Okay.
Podcast.
Mograph.com.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, I listen to it every week. And
you must not have any taste.
Yeah.
I listen to it because honestly, it makes my Mondays really, really easy. The last, I mean, I can only our territory we work until 6:30 p.m. So it's the last. So it coincides with the last half an hour, basically.
Okay.
So I listen to it for half an hour and then I stay on. To be honest, and if I work a little bit later, I keep listening to you guys, or sometimes I listen to you on a Tuesday morning.
Yeah, so, gotcha. That's nice.
Yeah, making life easier since 2017.
We were looking it up this morning. August 2015 was our first show.
That's insane.
Couldn't believe that.
Yeah. Can't believe we've been doing this long.
Yeah.
I really thought I would stop at some point. I really thought we would stop at some point.
That's
but now this is our daily. This is our Beeple weekly.
Yeah,
you know,
weekly.
Like we can't stop.
Yeah.
We'll die before it happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then I also listen to the Ukramedia podcast as well sometimes.
Yeah.
On SoundCloud. I used to listen to Ashthorpe's podcast, The Collective, but that finished like a couple of years ago. I stopped doing it. And I think that's it really. All the podcasts that I listen to are about Mograph, to be fair.
Yeah.
So.
And
cool.
Let's see, plugin besides render engines.
Plugin besides render engines, Deep Glow everything, mate. Deep Glow, Deep Glow. If you work in FUI, Deep Glow, X Particles as well. We use X Particles a lot.
I love two
Magic
of my
Solo.
favorites.
Yeah, Magic Solo as well. Those mainly X Particles and Deep Glow actually.
What's your go-to app? Muscle memory.
When I open my phone, Coinbase. No,
okay.
All right.
No, that's one. So trading apps and Instagram, I guess.
Okay. I discovered that Coinbase has a widget, for the iPhone. Yeah, so I put that on my main thing. So I've got my Robinhood on my left and my Coinbase on my right, so I can just instantly see how much money I've lost that day.
Yeah. Your stonks widget.
My stonks. Yeah.
Nice. I think it's not a good habit checking it so often.
Yeah.
I know.
Like weighing yourself. You don't want to do it every day. Just like maybe weekly.
Yeah.
Just see how you're doing.
Yeah.
I don't know. Video games.
Red Dead Redemption all the way.
All right.
The first one for the ambient, the soundtracks and how it immerses you in that world. And because of what it was, like it was a massive hit. And when it's the first one, it makes more of an impression, I think. And the second one, because of its excellence at a technical level and gameplay as well, is fantastic. So yeah, Red Dead Redemption every time. In fact, I booked a whole week off in 2018 just to play it.
Oh, that's funny. That's really funny.
I did not. I still have it loaded. I should play it sometime. And actually,
I played Red Dead Redemption 2 for a little bit when it was on, Game Pass. But it's so hard. Like, you spend an hour just getting into the game,
right?
To finally play it, and then you're like, all right, I'm done. As a casual gamer, it's like, all right, I need to just be able to hop in and go.
Hop me straight to the like open world gameplay. Let me screw around.
Yeah.
That's all I want to do anyway. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
And then the tough one. It's always the last tough one is.
Don't worry, I've got one.
You got it. You've been thinking about it for 4 years now.
I've been thinking all week about it. I think the absolute best life hack. When you are reheating a pizza from yesterday, don't heat it up on the microwave. Big mistake. Heat it up on a pan and put a piece of tinfoil on top. The bottom gets crispy, and it's you melt the cheese as well, so it's all good. Trust me.
Tinfoil.
You don't even need to. I mean, if it's greasy enough, if it's a pepperoni pizza or something like that, you don't even need to put any oil at all in the pan. So,
all right,
all right.
I got some pizza downstairs. I'm gonna try it.
Yeah. It's one of the best life hacks.
I told Matt he needs to get a green egg barbecue. And he said he'd rather have a pizza oven, and I was like, dude, I've been using it as a pizza oven. So you're gonna have to take the pizza egg challenge, come over sometime.
All right,
and let me cook this pizza for you. It's in the
freezer.
Let
me make the pizza. I will make the pizza. All right.
Okay.
And then you cook it.
No, the pizza's already ready to go.
No, I make my own pizza.
Well, here's what I do. Well, I mean, understandable. I'm sure that's great. But I order from we have a place here called Papa Murphy's, and they will send you the raw pizza made that day ready to pop in.
You know what's cool about Papa Murphy's?
Delicious.
You can use food stamps to purchase it because it's uncooked.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Huh.
Yeah, Papa Murphy's was really popular in Portland when I was living there because a lot of people were on food stamps, apparently.
So you just order the raw pizza and put it in, because it's like raw, what would you call it, foodstuffs?
I don't know. Yeah, because you have to cook it. Yeah. Interesting.
All right. All right. Okay, yeah, we're good. Let's get into the drop. Let's go to the drop because we got that heart out, yo. Here we go.
Yeah.
The drop.
Is this the fucking mic?
Drop.
This is exactly what I should be doing.
What's up, and welcome to this week's episode of The Drop, your weekly source for all things NFT and crypto art, as well as upcoming drops by notable people in the Mograph industry. I'm Matt Milstead. Joining me, as always, is Dave Koss, and joining us this week, Pedro Ramos.
Hello, NFTers.
Let's get into the drop list, the main drops for the week. I've got a few from Nifty Gateway and then a couple on Maker's Place. Let's start with Nifty Gateway. The first one we got two drops today. The first one is Jacob Riglin is doing a drop. Let me see. Oh, what's interesting about this one, and it's photography. Which is cool. You know, I love photography. I love myself some photography. But this one, they show the Hollywood sign, and I think you have to have. That is a copyrighted thing. I think you.
This is a public.
Is it public domain?
It's a public photo.
Yeah, but I think the sign itself is actually like copyrighted. I don't know.
Don't think.
And I am actually very impressed that they're able to see as many mountains from that far away, because when I was in LA, you couldn't see shit.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive. Yeah, the smog is so bad.
It's so bad. Sorry, folks in LA. I don't know how anyone lives there. It's so smoggy. Yeah. All right. Anyway,
guys, sorry to interrupt, guys. Is it okay if I go to the loo for a minute?
Do it.
Yeah?
Do it.
Yeah.
Be back in a minute.
You would. We want you to. Yeah. Please do.
Okay, back in a second.
All right.
Let's see. Next up, we got Paul Malinsky. I believe that's it. Okay, so what's cool about this one? They're doing. Paul's doing a thing called the 7 Collection, and it goes live today. And all week he's auctioning off a new piece every single day, which is cool. This piece right here is Monday. I think it's a really, really cool way to do the NFTs and stuff like that. So like a full week of auctions, which is pretty cool. So that one starts today. Next up tomorrow, we got David Ariev.
Oh snap! The mirror boxes,
cool about
though.
This, I love, the mirror boxes, you know. And I recently, sold my mirror box, my first one that I bought for like 400. You know, I sold it, and like the floor on his has gone up really well. So, you know, might be a good chance to get yourself a David Ariev. So what's cool about this is I love that he says I'm all about long form NFTs and pushing the boundaries past the normal 15 to 30 seconds. This one is 2 minutes long, which is
cool.
way cool. Like the fact that he can actually make something that long, you know, as
not
a drop,
have it be so incredibly
that's
compressed.
quality right there. I think
Yeah.
that's great. That's
Yeah.
like, it's like having your own short film, you know,
Right.
which
Yeah.
is super cool. So big shout out to Ariev for that one. That drops tomorrow, so be on the lookout. Next up tomorrow, we've got Sam Madhu. This is a really, I don't know if this is collectors exclusive only, but this is a preview of what they showed off for the stuff. I really like it. I like the characters. I like the kind of glitchy weirdiness of it, but really cool. Yeah. And that's tomorrow. On the 15th, Raf Grassetti is doing a drop. And I love Raf's work. Raf's work is so effing good. Like, let me see if I can pull up some of their work.
I could
so
probably
that you
just
can
get on their Twitter, and here you go.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Jeez, you know what? Whoever, if someone from Nifty Gateway is looking, here, check out this stuff, Dave. Because like, while that work is cool, I think we showed off this one like back in August or whatever. But this one is gorgeous. I love this work. Like these broken artifacty looking type stuff. It's absolutely gorgeous work. Like, and the floor on them has gone up significantly. Like some of these, lowest ask is, you know, you can't find one for less than $10,000.
Yeah,
which is cool.
Wow.
But gorgeous work. We should get Raf on the show.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah. Raf, if you're a listener, then
can I
call
say
us.
something?
Please call us. Yeah,
Absolutely.
Totally.
About people to come in the show. I would absolutely love. I would book a day off just to listen to the podcast if you guys brought Raoul Marx to the show.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
We need to do that.
We should.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think he's dropping some new work as well on Super Rare, maybe, or whatever platform he's in. Don't know.
sure
Maybe
we
he's
could work
got
that
some
out.
stuff going on as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's hit
Could
him up.
have Ariev put in a good word for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, hey.
Yeah, Riev is a big fan as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you've had some great suggestions over the years for people. You know, I always ask at the beginning of the show to send artist suggestions. It's 99% you who sends them in.
That's
and
funny.
A lot of them have worked out pretty well. So yeah.
Yeah, nice.
On the 16th, there's a group called the Outsiders that I think is doing a drop. I think it's a collective drop, but I don't have any information outside of that because, you know, it's Nifty Gateway and they don't like putting all their stuff out.
Previews.
Anyway.
Yeah.
So moving over to Maker's Place, Urs Fisher has another drop today,
Ooh.
which is, I love myself some Urs Fisher. I didn't get Urs Fisher at
Those
the
are my
beginning.
favorite peanuts.
And now what?
Oh, that's Fisher.
But now
peanuts.
I
Never mind.
absolutely like. I didn't realize. Yeah. Urs Fisher is just it. I love their work. Their work is great. So,
It's an
yeah,
acquired taste.
yeah. So scroll down, Dave. So
I mean, I'm in the mood for
love,
a VHS with a glove
Well,
intersecting with it.
So what
You
I
know,
love
that's what I
about
like
Urs'
art.
work is if you look at their physical pieces, because they were a physical artist before they started getting into digital, you know, and so like the amount of work that is involved to create something like this in a physical environment, you know, is crazy cool. And so like being able to see a digital version of some of this stuff is cool. I like the work. I like the work. My favorite story is when so like we had shown off a bunch of Urs Fisher drops on Maker's Place, and I was like, this stuff is weird, whatever, you know. And then people had posted he was at an art gallery looking at an Urs Fisher
IRL
piece, in real life, and I was like, oh, that looks like an Urs Fischer. Oh, they're actually a physical artist who just got into the digital space. Which is
you're
funny.
like, now I get it. Yeah.
Ah, it's Urs Fischer IRL.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's that. And then the next one on the 16th for Maker's Place is Ryan Hawthorne is doing a drop on the 16th. Super cool. So so these ones are like famous famous sculptures, but broken down into like super simple geometry and stuff, which is really, really cool.
It's nanite.
Like nanite? Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah, that's what it looks like, right?
Oh, that's the thinking man.
That's the thinking man.
5.
Yeah.
This is just what what the sculpture looks like if you're really far away in Unreal.
Right. Right. It's just LOD 5 or whatever. Yeah.
Does it say?
See, that's our problem. We know how
thinker? No.
No, it says thought.
Thought.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Guys, since you have a more, perhaps you have a better understanding of NFTs. I don't know how much you know about regulation, in the sense that if an artist uses copyrighted material, is it the Wild West still, or?
I don't know. So we've talked to Mike about this, and there's a certain amount of parody that has to be, because parody is covered.
There's a good episode of School Motion with people that goes into that. Yeah.
You have to change it enough, but I don't really know. Like for me personally, like this last piece that I did, I was going to use a poster. Let me make sure I was going to use a poster originally before doing graffiti in the background, but I didn't want to recreate that poster. I didn't want to spend the time, and I don't know if that poster was specifically like copyrighted or not.
Right.
And so I just decided not to. I just did all the graffiti myself. And
parody
stuff.
has a lot to do with it.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah. So
I mean, if you take Mickey Mouse and give him X eyes, like that one dude, that one artist dude who does all the like similar. Who is that? It does all the. Simpsons and Disney, and puts the X's in the eyes.
I know
That's
who
the
you're
only
talking
difference.
about. Yeah. Mouse X eyes artist. That is Cause. That's right. Yeah. Yeah. This is Bobby in the chat says with Bored Ape Yacht Club, you have free use of IP if you own it. With CryptoPunks, you don't have the rights.
Right.
Which is interesting. Okay. Like I feel, wasn't there like a back and forth with them, like people saying that Bored Apes were better specifically because you could use the IP and CryptoPunks aren't because you can't. I don't know.
I'm just waiting for a Bored Ape to sell me Coca-Cola. That's
right. It's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen. Yeah.
Super Bowl. I guarantee you.
Yeah, you're gonna have an ape advertising something.
We will see several apes on.
Calling it right now. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm perfectly happy with my Slim Hoods. My Slim Hoods are doing well. I love my Slim Hoods.
My Head 5 is doing great. I've valued
it.
0.01, whatever. Yeah.
My Slim Hoods, I bought it at 0.03, and now it's up to 0.147, which is good.
Whatever my visitors.
What is crazy though is the floor was like next to nothing. It was like 0.001. Like you could buy one for $30, and now they're up to like 600, which is cool. So.
What do you got in community drops?
What do we got? Okay, yeah, so we got a couple in community drops. First up, let's do Paul Robinson. Paul Robinson is dropping his collaboration, Unknown Origin. This is a really cool piece. Collaboration with, what is it? AKA Chombo. But yeah, really, really cool stuff. I love the liquid sims. I love it all melting together. We should get him on to talk about this process.
We should.
Of course, we only had him on a couple weeks ago.
That's true.
By a couple weeks, I mean
6 months. Yeah.
6 months, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, really good stuff. I like it. Then next up, I wanted to talk about this drop that Gavin Shapiro is doing, which is super cool. I'm really excited about this one. And I own one of his pieces, so I'll get to mint one a little bit early, which is great. You know, I've been a big supporter of Gavin Shapiro's work for a really long time, and I love the stuff that he does. You know, so he's doing it's basically it's one of the, it's designed to fit your Twitter banner, you know, versus like your Twitter profile picture, you know. And so there's 5 little penguins, you know, and there's 5 different versions of the penguins, right? And so the rarity is based off of like poker rules. So if you get like 5 of a kind, that's worth more than 3 of a kind, or a full house, or something like that. So that's really fun. I really like it. The thing about it is that, you know, he doesn't. It's not like this. This is all done for the art. It's not like, oh, there's a big, you know, we've got a big timeline of things that we plan to do with this. No, it's just about the art, you know, and that's something that I really love as an artist, you know, like as an artist supporting artists through NFTs. I enjoy buying their work because I like to own the work. If it just so happens to sell for much more than what I paid for it, awesome, cool. I'm cool with that. But I like to buy artists. I like to support the artists that I have always, you know, followed. And Gavin's one of them. So I'm really excited about this one.
Yeah, we're gonna have him on again and ask him.
We do, yeah. It would be very interesting. Because I think
last time we hadn't done.
It was right before his first drop, I believe.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, really good stuff. Really good stuff.
What was the thing that Billy was doing this week, participating in?
I don't remember.
It an Alex Marks thing? Or something? What was the
Nest Graphics?
Or Ness, I mean, not Marks. Yeah. Ness.
Nest Graphics. Nest did a drop on Saturday. Saturday, yeah. I entered one of his drawings to try and get it, and it was like a $3,000 if you won the drawing, but it instantly was reselling for $17,000. You know, just insane. Yeah. I mean, Alex is just he's a crazy good artist. You know, I love his work. So, but yeah, I think Billy had a key from that. You know, if you're a key holder, then you get an advance, like, you know, chance to buy one of the things, or you get into a drawing. But he actually sniped the first edition of that set from someone who was selling it off of OpenSea. Which is cool. Oh, one specific thing about the Gavin Shapiro one that you need to know. So if you're an owner of a Gavin Shapiro piece, like on Nifty Gateway or somewhere, you'll need to transfer it to your wallets, like a MetaMask wallet or something, in order to be able to mint it, because whatever wallet you're using to mint with, it needs to be in there. They need to be able to see it, and that won't work if you just have it in Nifty Gateway.
Right.
So I transferred mine this morning, worked great, didn't have a problem at all. So
it's always nerve-wracking, though.
Extremely nerve-wracking. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, I don't want to lose my Gavin thing. Another thing about Gavin, I can probably put in the show notes, but he did those zoetropes, you know, and released the STL files for him. So like you can actually download the 3D printed files for a zoetrope, so you can make your own, which is really cool.
Nice.
Yeah. So
Pedro, do you
that's
have
all I
NFTs?
got for the drop.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, I was just asking Pedro if you had NFTs. Are you doing them?
Oops, sorry, just hit the microphone. No, I do not. I have never minted anything. I sort of looked into it at the beginning of this year when the bus started going about, right? Towards the last few months of last year as well. And I looked into it, and I think maybe the gas prices made me think about it twice. Also, because the fact that as a full-time I was going to say artist, but I consider myself a designer. To be honest, I don't think I don't think of myself as an artist. I'm a designer. Perhaps when I work on my personal projects, you can say I'm an artist because I'm expressing my own ideas and such. Right. So then, I would say I would use the term artist. But again, no, I don't have any NFTs. I've made stuff that I thought, oh, maybe I could mint this one day, but just having play arounds with cinema. But I don't know, to be fair, it's I'm a little bit skeptical about the use of NFTs in the art world still. Like,
Really?
I mean, I see the utility.
Right.
It's just that I'm a little bit skeptical towards what the art world has become so quickly. I guess it's probably due to my personality. When I see something revolutionary, I tend to be skeptical and see where things go and what time makes of it, rather than jump in straight away and go like, oh yeah, this is the absolute best thing that has happened since Coca-Cola.
Totally. I get that.
I'm a bit skeptical, that's all. But no, yeah, I mean, if it's given opportunities to people who couldn't sell their work, or I don't know, or people who don't have the possibility to work at a studio or as a freelancer, that just having this new source of income, I think it's great. It's great for the industry, great for everyone, you know. It's fantastic.
I sent something to
one day, maybe. One day.
Now I sent something to Matt, I think, on TikTok. I think I sent it to you the other day. I don't know if you watched it.
I watch all of your TikToks.
It's talking about
all 800 that you send me every day.
Sorry.
It's all right.
The thing about anything digital is, in general, they tend to do better than the analog version.
You did send me that one.
That one. Yeah. I'll try and put that in the show notes too.
It was an interesting talk. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
I have one question actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that okay? So when you buy an NFT, obviously as I understand it, that's a ownership contract is what you get.
Yes.
But do you get the usufruct as well?
The
usufruct, basically the possibility to use it however you will. So for example, when you buy a house, you buy a house and you can live in it if you want to. You may as well flip it if you will, but you can live in it.
I think that depends. I think that depends on whatever rights
contract,
it is initially. It's set up in the contract. So.
Oh, okay. So contracts.
Like for example, the Bored Apes, you can use the intellectual property as long as you are the owner, versus like the CryptoPunks, you cannot. Like you can't use them for anything more than I think your profile picture. So.
See.
Yeah.
I see. Okay.
Yeah. So.
I don't know. One day.
Oh, look who it is.
Here it is.
Hey, Matt.
What's up,
Hey, Pedro.
Hey,
I just got back from the Mograph meetup in L.A. I went out afterwards and I experienced the rave scene of California, and I got a little bit carried away. I almost overdosed.
Oh my gosh.
So I totally almost missed my flight back. I had to catch a ride on a pug boat.
Okay.
That's why it took me so long to get back here. Just got here just in time to check out the new Matrix demo. I love Neo because we both have shiny coats. Okay, bye.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
That's a bad one to end on.
I didn't write that one.
Oh.
Oh,
man.
How in advance did you write them?
This one I wrote last week. I forgot last week. week to do it. We were out. It was.
I know.
The
It was
show.
a great
I
episode of the drop, wasn't it?
No, nobody likes Dorpy. Poor Dorpy.
Oh man.
Oh.
All right. Well, if any listeners have any NFTs you want us to show on the show, feel free to send us info@mograph.com, and we'll show it on the show.
Totes.
So, let's get out of here. Let's get back to the regular show.
The drop.
Is this the fucking mic?
Drop.
This is exactly what I should be doing.
Y'all, he just turned on the pool, like, thing. Yeah, and turned on the waterfall and like the little fountain thing.
You watching it on video or something?
Watching it on my my security camera. I can't wait to go outside and take video. I'm so excited.
The 40-degree weather showed up just in time.
I know. What's funny is so I put my little duck thermometer in the water, as I was filling it up, and it was it's like 80 degrees the other day. So the water was like 68, 70 degrees. It's like, oh, I could swim in that. And then the very next day it goes down to 30. It's like, all right, I guess I'm not swimming. Not until
you heat it.
Not until I heat it, which I can. I asked him. I said, "Will this heat the pool?" He said, "Yeah, that'll heat the pool." So
nice.
Spend a lot of money to heat the pool.
That electricity bill, though.
Yeah. And the gas bill. The gas bill is more expensive because it's natural gas that's
that's what's heating it. Okay.
Yeah. So, whatever. Pedro, thank you for being on the show.
Yeah. Oh, it's my pleasure. I mean, thank you for having me. It's been great, and after being a listener for so many years, it's great. It's almost funny to be here and talking to you. So, thank you for having me.
Get in the Discord, man.
Come hang out with us.
Yeah, it's fun
during the day.
Yeah,
even if you just turn it on and mute yourself if you got to work, Just,
sure, yeah. I'll drop by more often.
Yeah.
I only joined the Discord maybe a couple of weeks ago or something. It's but yeah, I'll drop by more often.
Yeah. Cool. If people want to find you online, where can they find you? Your website and such.
PedroRamos.co.uk. I have my work there. I'm active on Instagram and Twitter at PDR_Ramos. Sometimes I post tests, style frames of personal projects and that sort of stuff. Most of the stuff that I post or publish on my website is personal projects or personal little tests and such. If you want to see more of my professional work, some of it is on my website as well, but also drop by territorystudio.com.
Cool.
So, yeah. A lot of NDA stuff, guys. A lot of NDAs.
Yeah, I know.
That's the worst.
That's the problem with ours. Like, we haven't updated our reel in a couple of years, all because all the work we've been doing is NDA.
Yeah.
Which is whatever. It's fine.
It's paying the bills. It's fine.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, we're going to get out of here. You can rate us on iTunes, leave a review, helps get our ratings up, your podcatcher of choice and whatnot. You can subscribe to our newsletter, which goes out monthly. We sent one out last week with all the holiday updates and things in it. You can say you've been there, done that, got the t-shirt with the Mograph logo tee, the Paul Babb Feel the Babb 2020 shirt, all the profits from that go to Doctors Without Borders. You render things, t-shirt, hoodie, long sleeve tee, the Dat Renderers Fire shirt, which you're only allowed to wear ironically.
Unless
you're shams.
Yeah.
And the Mograph Blandishment shirt, check that out. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Mograph.com. Come talk to us, subscribe to us on the things, and we'll see you around the interwebs.
Yeah,
That
awesome.
about wraps it up. So until next time, I'm Dave.
And I'm Matt.
I'm Pedro.
Have a good one.
Later, yo.
See yo.
My waveform is like, good, and then like 10 minutes of nothing.
Shall I hit stop now?
Yeah, you can stop. Save as. Dave, what episode is this?
309.
309.